Well, it looks like we're live again. Hi, folks.
Good evening.
And we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff tonight. So welcome to all of you here. We'll say hello to people as you join on. And if you want to buy ice creams, I'm wearing my ice cream jacket tonight for you. So, yeah, we'll say hello to everyone and then we'll get started on the topic soon. Oh, look, I recognize that woman, don't you?
Who is it?
Hi from Wisconsin, US. Hiya from J Moon. I'm just going to expand this a little bit so you can see it.
Can't see any of it.
We've got Debbie. And I'm just going to try to expand the screen a little bit, folks. We had some problems with the screen earlier. I can't do it. We'll have to do it small. Hi, Debbie B. Hi, Moon from Wisconsin too. Oh, wow, that's good to see. Jane?
Yeah, that's good. Cindy Brown, hello from Houston, Texas. Hello, Texas, Houston.
I expect we'll get a few Americans on tonight. So we're going to talk about some of the things that are happening in 2021 and what's been happening in 2020 and have some thoughts about what's going to happen in the world over the coming year and maybe more. Can't wait to hear what Craig and Jane say about the US and what happened at the Capitol. Boy, Pelosi is having a field day. Yes. I'm not a great lover of that woman, but she certainly is getting her vengeance at the moment, isn't
Kit,
she?
hello from Chicago.
Hi there, Kit. Nice to see you. So we're getting quite a few people from America today, I expect, because we're going to talk about all the troubles in the world, you know, what's going to happen, what we're going to start seeing as things go on. Nirvana Bliss, we've seen you before. Hi from Saudi Arabia.
Beatrice, good day from New York, USA. Today is all peaceful for the few that I'm pleased, really. They need peace, don't they?
Well, in New York, what's the trouble in New York as well? I know that we don't see it all here in the UK, you see. We see a lot, obviously saw what's been going on in Washington. Beatrice is saying good day. Oops, we got that one. Catherine, hi from the south of England. That's where we are, of course, folks, down in the south of England. All on lockdown still. I don't know those joining us from America. We've got full on lockdown here in the UK. Doreen Bridges is saying hello from Illinois. From the Netherlands, we've got
Keir.
And from Armenia, we're all over the place. Elisa, nice to see you, folks.
And I think we ought to say Happy New Year, and let's hope it will be a Happy New Year.
There's got to be some good coming out of this lot, isn't there, really? I mean, we've had a pretty rough time, really. All the Nashville, Tennessee, Marlene. I'd love to go to Nashville. That would be an interesting place to see.
Agility bits.
No, I think I heard of her before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello and Happy New Year from the very, very cold Cornwall.
It's cold here.
Yeah, it's pretty bad here. I don't know if you've got the snow down there yet. We haven't here. But you tend to get it quicker than we do in the south. Lisa Sully, hello to you both. Happy New Year. When will this world of madness end?
Not yet.
The world itself won't end, but perhaps the madness might start.
I think we're going to have a few more viruses going up to 2027.
Fleming is saying hello from Denmark and Happy New TE.
Yeah.
Marie, Happy New Year from the Philippines. From the Philippines. God, you're right around the world today, aren't we? That's of course that's the same time zones as Australia.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Read them out then. Hello and Happy New Year to you.
You just told me to read it out. You're reading it. And hello and Happy New Year to you, to Sweet Couple on Facebook. Oh, thank you.
And on YouTube, of course, and on Twitter.
And on TV, and on the radio, and on the magazines.
And in the prison records.
For you.
Margaret Head says, hi from Mags over the road in Bishopstoke. Oh, right. Hi there.
I know Margaret.
Yeah. So that's just literally, we could go ahead and throw a stone at our window from here. Happy New Year from Navdeep Monga, West Midlands. Navdeep Monga, that sounds like in Borneo or something.
It does, doesn't it? John Sims, hi from Scotland. Hi, John. Claire Gucci, hi from Switzerland, and Happy New Year. Lots of snow here. Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah, I bet you've got some snow there in Switzerland.
I think we've got some coming.
We got it coming here. Managed to stay awake from India. Blimey,
Oh,
coming a
bless.
long way again, isn't it? It's a funny time today. I'm trying to help someone with some Nadi readings in India and America. So we have to try to work out these complicated time zones around the world to find times when we could all get online at the same time. I love animals from I Love Animals. I wonder if that person loves animals. Looking beautiful, Jane.
Yeah. So there.
Looking ridiculous, Craig.
I've heard of pinstripe suits, but that beats it.
Roxanne, I suppose. Hello from Saravina, Arus, Colombia. I can say the Columbia easy enough.
That's nice, isn't it, Roxanne?
Yeah, lots of people
Roxy.
from all over. So it's interesting that we're
We're
kind
from
of
Cape Town. Shamir?
Cape Town, South Africa. Shamir.
That's a beautiful name, isn't it?
And Lisa, Sully, from Leeds, Yorkshire. Eopagum, Leeds. Champion. And Lisa is saying, Happy New Year from beautiful Pacifica, California. Yeah, fantastic. Well, we seem to have people from everywhere. Lots of people saying hello today. So we're saying all the hellos, of course, as we sort of letting everybody get online first.
Here comes
we're going to have a hello from Boo
hello,
in a minute,
Amy.
because he's going to come and have a look at the camera.
Yeah, you'll probably pick a lottery number.
Favourite forecasters of fortune. Yes, the forecasters of fortune. Yeah, that makes a good headline. Yeah, what a jacket, Craig. Stripes through the stars beside you. In form of Jane. Yes, yeah. I thought I might wear a sari next time, maybe.
Or a turban.
Or a turban.
An orange one. It'd go well with that.
Shut up, Karen.
Shut up, Karen.
Shut up, Karen. That's obviously her husband's handle. Hello from Indiana.
Gosh.
Yeah, so we got everyone in. So we're just sort of saying hello. We're going to be doing, if you're just joining us, we're going to be talking about the future of the world, where we're going. And we want your questions, your ideas. You know, you can put your comments in. And Domenico working in the background will be able to put the pictures up on the screen, and just like you're doing now. Angela is saying Happy New Year to one of the most adorable couples on YouTube. Great respect to you both, live from Vancouver, Canada.
That's nice.
Thank you. Think she likes our work?
I think she likes us.
You sound like you can come again.
I think she likes us.
Yeah. Denise and Lee Cranch. Hi from Rita and Denise, USA.
That's nice. Catherine, what is the subject today? Predictions around the world.
Kind of what the troubles of the world I think we want to talk about today. Just some general stuff about the things that we've been feeling about what's going on in the world, and get a bit more Jane's input into this too, because obviously I make my prediction videos, but I think you'd probably find it quite interesting to hear what Jane thinks about some of these things,
right,
as well. So let's start off with you, Jane. What's some of your, so I don't cough my way through it.
Well, take a drink and let's shut you up while I talk.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Some of your thoughts about USA,
well,
because that's the most topical at the moment, isn't it?
I feel the riots will settle down, but I feel it's going to take a little bit of time, because I feel you have some troublemakers out there that just love making trouble, don't you? I don't think it's going to be an easy ride with the new president. Do you?
I think it's going to be, I don't think the troubles are going to settle down personally. I think the troubles will settle down a bit. But I think we're going to have in the background, everybody is throwing petrol on the fire. Not just politically, but we got it from all directions. If you take, for example, QAnon on the one side are trying to influence public thought. Black Lives Matter, which is also a very left-wing organization, putting aside, its agenda about equal rights.
Well, I've got to stop there, because I think all lives matters.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's political, very, very left-wing politics going on there, and we've got very, very right-wing politics in both sides of the agenda there in America. Absolute recipe for disaster. And then we've got China, who are at this present moment, they don't have much of a pandemic there. Most of their factories are functioning.
Well, it came through in trance that China will take over the world eventually.
We'll try to.
They will.
And China has got serious plans economically, I think, after this. They're not letting anyone in to talk about the virus. They send delegates out there, and they're going to say, oh, can we see and find out what the source of this virus is? And it's closed doors. They turned them back just as they were on the plane. They turned some of them back. And so what's China up to? What's China doing in America? Is China kind of convenient to see the democracies of the world caving in as their communist organization starts to rise to the fore? Same with Russia, you know. They don't take a psychic to see that there's an awful lot wrong going on.
I think there's
in the
a lot
background
of
there.
money transactions that have been going on, don't you? A lot of backhanders.
Well, what do you think about that? Where do you think that's coming from and going to, and
From
who's
China
doing
to
it? Which
America.
side? You know, I mean,
You know which side, Craig?
well, go on then. What do you think?
The new president.
So you think there's some corruption around Biden?
I'm not saying corruption as such. I feel there's been a lot of things happening there, and with trade and everything.
Because they do argue that there's Chinese money being pushed into the
Of course
Democrat Party.
there is.
And I expect it's just as bad on all sides of the divide. You know, there's corruption in all politics. In Britain too. I mean, I've seen people in business asking for backhanders when I used to be doing graphic design and things. People you would not think would do things like that. There's a corrupt society out there with money influencing political decisions.
Money's the root of all evil, it's true.
And I think the big problem personally is we do not have access to clear and precise journalism and information that we can be sure of. You know, even I always feel very uncomfortable with what I see on the BBC personally, because I always think it's being pushed to some agenda that is not strictly representative of what really is happening for most people in the country. You know, whether I agree with what they say or not, it's not the issue. The thing is, how do we get to the truth of what is really going? Look at the cat going mad in the background.
Is he going up the curtains?
Running up the curtains there. Yeah, that puts us all in our place. But I'll put him in charge. I'll tell you, of all the I don't know how many million people there are in America, 300 million or something like that. They choose 2 people, and I think Boo would do a better job. Same here in this country. So, you know, I mean, so what's your gut feelings, Jane, about these things generally? I mean, you said, because I said before too, that I think there's 2 more viruses.
Well, I think
Sharon Anders said this. Sharon
yeah,
Anders said
I
the
feel
same.
there'll be many viruses to come in the 21st century. And I also predict in the future, believe it or not, Craig, I see a virus coming from outer space.
Well, a lot of
I'm
viruses
100% sure with that. And I'm 100% there's another life force beyond what we can comprehend at the moment.
And do you think we'll have contact with that within our lifetime?
In the future, we will. We're being observed.
Yeah, it's possible. But certainly likely that there's life out there. But,
yes, there is. I mean, we'll have many viruses, and it's like a germ warfare, really, isn't it?
Well, this is the other question. You see, I've often said in my predictions, I think they're seeding me with the coronavirus here with the coughing all the time. But I keep seeing with my predictions, I was really concerned that this virus was lab made, and the BBC, for example, say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy. You know, it's not lab made." But then you read other reports, and they're not just crazy conspiracy theory people that are doing this. There's some very sensible people saying stuff that, you know, this does have sometimes the fingerprints of something that's been made in a lab.
Well, do you know, Craig, in China they're making war robots this very moment as we're talking?
Well, every country is.
No, but they've actually
terrible things you can do with drones,
actually it's about 8 foot. It's, you know, like RoboCop.
Right.
No, it's true.
You haven't been watching too much Facebook.
No, I've been watching you. No.
Yeah, I don't know. There could be. There's all sorts of things going on, but I have real strong bad feelings about China personally, and I think Biden will obviously be in power, but well, not necessarily obviously the way things are going, because Trump could evoke what's it called, 25, the to sort of cause almost a coup. Whatever it is in the American Constitution, and could actually declare the country in a serious position and assume power. So there's all sorts that could happen. I mean, and there's also stuff, you know, there's stuff going on, like I was saying, about the influences worry me. There was that woman that was shot in Capitol Hill, and now some people are saying, and I saw some news filtering through, but not on the mainstream news, that she isn't dead.
No, she is dead.
And that she's an FBI, and she was in the CIA rather.
I don't believe that. They brought the FBI in because they had to control the crowds, because when they stormed into there, they were destroying the furniture and everything, really out of control.
But really, who was behind it? You know, there's obviously a lot of Trump supporters there, but are there other people stirring this up? Other foreign powers stirring it up? I mean, we see it on the streets on a normal protest in London or somewhere. You get a few people that go peacefully protesting, you know, a load of vegans and things, all meaning good from what they do. And then you get a bunch of anarchists who stir it all up.
Come on, you women, all get together and let's rule the world. That's what I say.
Yeah, we're making a good job of it, the women.
Bring your foot up and kick them in the crotch.
All those great women, Margaret Thatcher.
Actually, she was a very good woman. Helena Troy.
They all cause wars.
Helena Troy.
Yeah. No, my feeling is there's going to be more. My personal feeling is there's going to be a lot more public unrest. Of course there is. But I'm talking big time. We had guns being pulled inside the White House on Capitol Hill. What an incredible thing.
I don't really feel that the new president will be doing his full years in presidency.
No, I've said the same.
I really don't. And I feel this is a sign of things to come. You will find that somebody will try to assassinate him. I feel that very strong.
Yes, I think there's always attempts on all presidents to assassinate, because that's why we have all the security people around. And there's been quite a few attempts even on Trump that had happened, apparently. But I think Biden, I just don't see him running full term. And, you know, who will take over from him? I mean,
be a woman.
Of course it will, because it would be the vice president. But I get a funny feeling there might be even something even more strange to that. That's why in my predictions I said a woman will follow. But I'm not necessarily sure it'll be Kamala Harris. I've got her first name right.
Definitely be a woman.
Because she would naturally. And I think Trump's vice president too might even have his eye on the presidency with all this impeachment talk, which would absolutely infuriate people if that happened. So I think we're going to get a lot of really, really serious troubles. I haven't been able to access the Nadis for this, but I have heard from one of my friends in India that the Nadis are saying that there's terrible troubles ahead for America, right? That Trump won't get back into power, they are saying, but he will be very, very resentful for the rest of his life. And I think my feeling is will be a force that will kind of be fighting in the background and causing more and more trouble. Because I just don't think this whole business there has never been settled. That's the problem. If it's not settled, we're going to just have conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory and more trouble. Do you think Trump will be impeached before he leaves office?
I don't think so. Do you? He's going to, you see, he's playing it, isn't he? He's leaving his options open. He's playing it as if, hey, all be peaceful, calm down. And he instigated
he's
this. He's
doing two things at the same time, isn't he? On the one hand, he's got a sword in one hand and a flower in the other. So he's saying, oh, look, don't do this. And then he's saying, suggesting you should do it. And that dreadful woman, I can't remember her name. Polinsky, whatever her name is. You know, the lawyer one in the House of Representatives.
Polinsky? You're not thinking of Clinton,
No, what's her name? Oh, I've forgotten. I've forgotten her name. It's gone. But she is determined to get her vengeance on Trump. And if she did impeach him, I think that would be the absolute worst possible thing from any point of view that anybody could do, because people are so inflamed at the moment at the feeling that the election has been compromised. And I think it has, personally, even though they keep saying, oh, it's all debunked theories and things like that. But I just have a strong feeling that something went wrong there. And if I'm completely wrong and everybody else is completely wrong, that's fine. But it's got to be shown with great clarity, and they've got to be allowed to access all the stuff they wanted to access. Otherwise, you know, what are you left with? You're left with the unknown. and that's going to just cause more and more trouble. I've done with the news. I don't blame you. They're not not covering everything, and they are deciding what we should know and how we should feel about it. And censorship
I believe
is
that.
huge.
That's true.
Do you think? What? Give us some more thoughts, Jane.
Well, I believe they took Trump off of Facebook and they took him off of Twitter and everything. It's sort of like it's a frenzy, and what's happening? It's like all a power game. It's all building up.
Yeah.
There will be more riots yet.
Yeah, it's like I think Stalin said, it's not the number of votes that count. It's the person that counts the votes that counts. You know, and also, who decides what we should or shouldn't see? I mean, not just the television, but if you think about it, all of the things we watch on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, you start censoring that, and then somebody has enormous power. A simple little tweak of one word to say we don't allow the word Craig Hamilton Parker to be on the internet. Suddenly we're
censorship.
Gone. We're gone. You know, you can't find us. You have to find roundabout ways to find the person, and that could apply to every single one of us, every single political idea. And I just feel that these social media sites, and Google in particular, are absolute monsters. And I've been saying, I even used to write to my MPs about this, and I wrote to
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price. He'd have been a better one. Not Vincent Price. What was his bloody name?
Vincent Cable. I'm joking.
Vincent Cable. That's it. I should have written to Vincent Price. I really did bloody sorting about. He played Dracula, you remember? And Vince Cable didn't have the faintest idea what I was talking about, you know. And he put me onto Google, and I tried to argue some of the things, and I wrote to the European Union people about it, and nobody knew. And now it's all coming true. I was really worried about that, so worried that I actually started to do something. And so I think that who controls the social media nowadays controls the world. Whoever controls those algorithms. You know, an algorithm's not just a machine, someone programs it.
Well, it's all artificial intelligence. We're all controlled, all Big Brother's watching everyone.
So here's the one for you, Jane. Vera's saying here, being told by another psychic, Trump will fall big time, such as financial problems, debts, etc.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's another psychic's view, isn't it? I don't necessarily go along what other psychics say. He's a businessman, isn't he? He's a man that will always get himself out of situations. Yeah,
I don't think he'll crash.
No, you won't.
I haven't seen that.
No.
I think he might have problems, but I think he might have an awful lot extra support, particularly if he goes into the media, because they're not going to. He's going to be a hot potato for a while. Nobody's going to touch him. The Republican Party are all going to turn on him, and I feel he'll start taking an independent route. And I think if he goes with his own TV channel, I think there'll be an awful lot of Americans that would subscribe to that, and people around the world. And you know, I think he would. I think
Trump did do a lot of good in America.
I think he did a lot of good, and he did a lot of bad. It's like everybody; they're all a mixture.
He did do a lot of good.
The problem is we've got such extreme politics there. You see, I think Biden could do. Now, this a lot of people don't like, but I think, you know, Biden could do a lot of good as well, because I mean, the things that Trump didn't deal with was the environment, for example. He didn't deal with healthcare. You know, some people in America, you know, we take it for granted that if we were to get sick, the national health would look after us. But in America, you get sick and everything's sold, which you would do. So, you know, I think Biden's going to bring in very soon healthcare things. And I dreamed the other night, I've been having some very, very strange dreams, because I think it's this coronavirus.
You're a strange man.
I'm all kinds of weird stuff. You know, I'm a weird person inside my brain, who knows? But I was dreaming about a whole load of people leaning against a wall, and the wall fell down. But now that's on one level, that's a good thing to see walls come down. But it seemed in the dream that people were clambering over the top of each other, and I was seeing an awful lot of people dying with that wall falling down.
I do think, though, in the future, Craig, there's going to be a new movement that's coming up in the world, because people generally want peace. And people generally want to be happy, enjoy this life while they're on the Earth planet. So there'll be a new movement, uprising.
Yeah, and what we're talking about here is a spiritual movement, isn't it? This is what I've been saying too. Because,
that's what's needed.
You know, the only way out of this, the only way out.
That's not to do with organised religion.
No. The only way out of this is spirituality, not religion. Spirituality. Because I think people on all sides of all divides, all are fed up with the materialism, the uncertainty, the secretiveness, the greed, the corruption, you know, on all sides, you know. And but I think the common denominator is that all people are feeling a need for more spiritual connectedness. You know, you've become beggars, really, materially well off, but beggars spiritually. And
I'm a spirit warrior, Craig.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you get a group of people very spiritually connected, you don't have to start throwing slogans around like Black Lives Matter. Because people naturally connect with each other, and it's like it doesn't matter, you know, because we're all one. We're all one spiritual people, and when people spiritually connect, it's like children. They don't notice the color of a person's skin or anything like that. They just get on with it.
You shouldn't really, because
you're
the
blind
human
to it
beings,
because you don't notice.
we're all as one.
There's no difference.
It's not, because my best friend is coloured, isn't she?
Yeah.
Bianca.
Well,
my best friend.
I have to think. So I just thinking, who do we know that we could cite who's a coloured person? Of course, Bianca. She's our friend, but I don't even notice.
You don't.
You know,
you just see the person.
You just see the person, and that's when people are spiritually connected. When people are great friends, you don't even notice differences and divisions, and that I feel is the only way we can bring the world together through spirituality, not religion, because that's divisive too. Will Assange ever be released?
Well, they're trying, aren't they, on medical grounds?
I don't think he will ever be released, personally.
He's got 2 children, hasn't he?
I think he might try to make a run for it again, but I don't think he'll be released. No, I don't think he will be released, because the Americans would chase him down.
When you think this virus has brought out loads of emotions in people, you've got people that became more kinder, more caring, more friendly. Then you've got those disrupted ones because they're locked down, wanting to cause wars and all kinds of things. I do think without Biden, there may be, and I'm sorry to say, there might be a war coming.
I've been saying I think a war in the Middle East.
War coming.
Because I mean, I feel that we've been glossing over the problems around the world, not just in the Middle East, but we've got terrible problems around the China Sea. You know, someone was just telling me there about how my hair looks nice. You missed the post there. I think it was for me. So my biggest worry is China, but another thing I've often said is that China and Russia will be in cahoots with each other. And another thing I don't like also is that there's been a big deal done with the European Union with China. This has already happened, and this was something I was also mentioning some time back in my predictions. And I feel this is also, you know, it's again, we are prepared to deal with China because it all is kind of easy. You can make lots of money, you know. But those people, when I wrote my book about Tibet years ago, I was absolutely horrified for what went on in Tibet when the Chinese first moved in there. And also with the Uyghur people too. It's horrific. There's people in the same position as the bloody Nazis were doing to people.
Yeah, but in Tibet, the Chinese have decided who their Lama is, a Chinese Lama.
Yeah, they've taken the Pancha Lama and they're going to try to, they kidnapped the Pancha Lama. So, okay, there's that guy they kidnapped the Pancha Lama. So that's the second in command, as it were. So they can wheel him in, probably being brainwashed or not. We don't even know if he's the same boy, you know. Absolute terrible subterfuge. They do it. They sneak in the Chinese, not the Chinese people. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with the Chinese people.
I think
the authorities.
I think if I was in charge of the world, I'd make sure there was no more guns.
Yeah, and this is what someone's asking. Nana's asking here. Do you ever think that they will give up the gun culture?
No, they
That's
won't.
what I'm hoping.
I'd like them to, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
It would take an awful big spiritual revival to do that, wouldn't it? And even then, I mean, there's so much money involved in the gun culture in America.
There's gangs with
And
guns.
even now, the more fear you get, the more people want to arm themselves. You know, what they should be doing is all disarming themselves. But I can't see that happening, even with what I think is going to be a very left-wing socialist type of agenda that's going to be in America now. I think America could do with some of that, you know, as well. You know, I mean, I think there needs to be something more done with the environment, more done with helping people who are poor, more done particularly with medical things, you know. Okay, what will happen with Kamala Harris? Is she the one who will take over from Biden? Makes sense because she's vice president.
What's your view on it then, Craig? Oh, Nick Carter.
And hi, Nicocardo. It's nice to see you again.
Fancy you popping up. Well.
Give me some diet tips. I like I said, I think a woman's going to take over, but I'm not sure it's going to be her.
It's me.
Yeah, it could be.
It's me.
Yeah, I think we do a better job, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'd have a bit of probably wreck the economy and everything. I think a woman's going to be in charge, but I've got a feeling it'll be somebody else. And that doesn't make any sense logically.
I think the best one would be Judge Judy.
Yeah, she's making a good job of it.
She's great, isn't she? I love her.
Yeah. I mean, I think we do need more women in politics, particularly this top end of the politics.
Strong women.
Like this. Well, not always strong. I think we need
we
need more
men.
compassionate people and more compassionate men and more compassionate women, actually. Because the whole thing is about politics, isn't it? It's always about money. It's always about me. It's pure selfishness. You know, never thinking about the other people or how we can help or what we can do to make the world a better place or for future generations who are going to pay for all this that we're doing.
Yeah, I reckon that Judge Judy would be a good candidate. I reckon she'd sort them out.
Yeah.
I love her.
But I don't see Biden there for long.
No, he won't be.
I'm not wishing on the man.
No, nobody should do that. But I don't think his health is so good.
Yeah, they've talked a lot about his health, but I think they really did cover it up personally. And I think he's going to come in really heavy on policies. He's going to, just like Trump wrote all these things day one and tears up all the Obamacare and everything. He's going to do the exact opposite. We're going to see real major stuff from him,
and he's really for Ireland, isn't he?
He's all for Ireland. I don't think Boris Johnson and we're going to get the sort of deal anymore that would have been the case. I think we'll still get a pretty good trade deal between Britain and.
Someone said, "Do you think it'd be Hillary Clinton?" Definitely not.
Keep to the ones.
All right.
Please give us some hope and tell us if things are going to get any better in the UK. Will we ever get back to normal, or is this in it for the foreseeable?
I think we will get back to normal. It's going to take, I get the feeling before anything actually settles down, I see a good 18 months, not necessarily in lockdown.
In fact, one of the things I saw today, I was doing a private reading for someone, and I'm not going to say anything about their reading, of course, but they were an actress, this person was, but I was talking about it, and I saw this incredible sort of pageant that was going through. That it was like a huge celebration, and I felt, what's going on here? And I felt as if there's going to be something that they're going to do, where they're going to do something which is going to suddenly put all the actors and actresses into work, because we're going to have a big sort of like, just like we all celebrated the millennium. We're going to do something with all sort of Circus Soleil type of things and acrobats and actors and actresses, a celebration of the arts that kind of gives a boost to the UK's theatres and things like that, and take it all out on the streets. So it was warm when I saw this, so it must be a summertime. So I get the feeling that we're going to get through the worst of the virus, as they're kind of predicting, by March, and by the summertime I think it's going to be safe to go out and closer to being able to reconnect with people. And I think there's going to be some big expression of energy and exuberance, rather than let it be channeled into protests and violence.
I think
and strikes.
we're going to have in the 21st century more viruses, Craig, and so we'll get so used to all these vaccines, it'd just be like having a flu jab.
I agree with you. The thing is, there's so many of us living in such close proximity. We've got super dense cities, and we're running out of things like antibiotics, and who knows what other things could come. It happens when you get close overpopulation. The Simpsons said that the apocalypse begins on Inauguration Day. It's really, did they? Is that another Simpsons one? That Simpsons stuff is really odd. Have you heard the Simpsons thing?
No, Mr. Burns, did he say that?
No, but actually they keep getting these weird bits and clips from Simpsons that come up, almost the exact pictures, like Trump coming down the escalator, and a whole load of strange Simpsons predictions. So I don't know. Homer Simpson, obviously, and the rest of them, maybe Matt Groening might have some sort of special insights.
I think people will worry about a food shortage in the world as well. I think most people will be worrying about that.
Yeah, I think the Simpsons actually
change subject.
No, I'm just keeping to the subject actually, because I think the Simpsons, if you think about it, it's always making social comment. So it's going to pick up on every sort of fear that's in the American consciousness. So sooner or later, they're going to get a clip that reflects something that actually does happen.
Oh, we've got a rainbow child here.
Oh, thank you for, you've just put as a special one, I think. I hope Trump get back into power in the world. Is the spirit of the two.
It's split.
Taiwan.
It's split.
Yeah. And Taiwan's another area that I think we should be given an awful lot more support to, because I feel there's going to be a lot of trouble again, because China's going to be very empowered with all this that's happened. Like I was saying earlier on, they are booming while everywhere else is in trouble, and they are supplying us with, we're buying from them like there's no tomorrow, you know. And they want to threaten Taiwan, and they want to threaten South Korea, and they want to threaten Japan. They want to be the full power in that region. And I see lots of aircraft carriers and all the rest of it down there. There's going to be extreme tension in that area like we've not seen before. And in the mix, we've got South Korea, because North Korea, because I think there's going to be, I feel that he's going to be overthrown by his own people. They've been saying that for a while. So I think we're going to see that soon. I think I've got a feeling that's close. Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un, yeah.
Jong. Well, China's definitely definitely doing well, aren't they?
Okay, here's one for you, Jane.
Why
Craig and
me?
Jane.
Why can't
you're
I
good
pick?
at this, because Craig and Jane, what do you think will happen to Meghan and Harry?
Well, I think we all know the answer to that. It's a bit like, in one way, it's very sad, because I think of Wallace Simpson and the king that gave up his throne for her. It's like history repeating itself. Now, there might be talk of another baby to come, but I would give it less than 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe even less than that.
I just said that. Less than 5 years.
Yeah,
listen to me.
Because I don't think they're going to hold it together. Because I think Harry's going to
get fed up.
Get fed up with it.
Because I think Meghan wants to be like a movie star in a great big film, James Bond and that, and also to be somebody, the leader of the world with all her ideas.
And all their foundation things fell to pieces because of the coronavirus. They couldn't start to do their charitable work. So, and really, you know, I mean, the reason the royals do the charitable work is because it's representative of the UK, of the nation. You know, it's not your personal little glory thing. And that's what they turned it into. They turned it into a PR exercise.
The royal family years ago wouldn't allow them to get married to a divorced woman.
No.
And you would have to be pure, really. Pure.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Charles had so much trouble, really, didn't he, as well, with the Diana stuff. He didn't really intend, he didn't really want to marry Diana from the start.
Oh, she's beautiful, Diana.
Yeah. So it's been quite a sticky year for everybody, really, isn't it? Oh, I'm sure it'll all get a bit better, though. You know, I mean, we're in the worst of it now. And I think one of the most important things is we are going to see a greater spirituality. I mean, I was around I was born in 1954, so I was in the 70s and just tail end of the 60s when I was a kid. And what an incredible energy and a renaissance happened then, you know? And can't we have something like that again, perhaps without all the sort of craziness, and much more of a serious spirituality, and with people getting ideas about, you know, the higher purpose of life rather than just all about money.
Okay, crazy train.
Yeah, well, it's true though.
I just want to say a quick word to Justin. This is a different Justin. Happy birthday, and thank you for following us.
Okay, right. So Nana says, when will be the first alien contact? A few sightings of ships, even in the UK. Now you see, I'm in
Actually,
two
people have seen UFOs, and also the government do hide a lot of things as well, because pilots have actually seen it, airline pilots and different things.
My thought is, if we were to travel between stars, we couldn't use the normal sort of technology that we know.
We're not advanced enough.
I think it would be done more, a bit like
Beam me up,
travel.
Scotty.
Yeah,
Beam me up, Scotty. That's what it will be, like astral travel.
Not UFOs.
Like astral travel.
It's
well,
like
I've got news for you, Craig. You're first on the list.
It would have to be interdimensional travel. Yeah,
you're first on the list.
I'd love to see all that. There was other worlds out
there.
There
are.
But I'm sure there's life elsewhere in the universe, and they must have. I mean, if there is life elsewhere, they should have been here by now. They should have been, because it would have. Considering the length and age of the universe, there must have been many advanced civilizations. Selena? The fact that we haven't heard is very worrying.
It's Selena.
Selena Arthur saying, people are saying this is the new age of Aquarius. Well, that's what they were saying in the 60s. It is really. We are on a turning point.
Yes.
I'm very interested in Indian stuff, as you know, and it's the changing point from Kali Yuga into the better ages, you know, and there's people have different ways of interpreting that as well. But we are definitely on a gradual changeover. And usually when one age changes to another, and this is what it says in things like what's called the Puranas, which is another Indian texts, they talk about the changing of the ages. And when these ages change, there are difficulties. You know, there are hard things that happen. But gradually, the better things supersede the bad things. So I think think about it, we've had a lot of bad periods in recent history. We had the First World War, the Second World War, all the troubles with nuclear bombs and Vietnam and endless, and, you know, the Middle East and all the rest of it. We've had a lot of pretty difficult times. And I think gradually we'll get more better times coming in, you know. What's happened, like with this coronavirus, is not as bad as what happened with the Spanish flu and the First World War. It's still bad, but it's less. And I think we'll continue to have negative things happen, but gradually an undercurrent of good things will happen.
You've got to have a balance on the planet. It's a bit like the yin and the yang.
Yeah, and I think also when we get these changeovers too, and I feel this is going to be this year very important. I feel we're going to get an awful lot of earth changes and earthquakes. And
it's the environment one has to worry about.
Yeah, it's like the Mother Earth herself will shake. But all of this is where our heads are. That's the important thing. You can live in any world and be at peace. And the changeover doesn't happen outside. The new age, as it were, the lady mentioned there, that doesn't happen outside. It happens in here. It has to happen in here. When our consciousness changes individually, we're in a different space to other people. Happiness can only ever be inside. It can't be outside. It can only be inside. It's an inner experience. And my feeling is that the dawn of Aquarius, or whatever we want to call it, dawns inside our heads. You know, it's one by one we awaken. That's what we must focus on, and that's what we can all do about it.
Ginger Tea's asking you something.
Go on then.
No, that's you.
Okay. Do you think that our consciousness, I think she says, does not end when we die, that it continues after death? And that's why they can communicate with us. Well, that's what we do as mediums, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we prove that. But do you want to say some more? No.
Well, just that.
But don't read the other ones, because those will be coming up later.
All right.
But yeah, our consciousness is what is it? What is it that survives death? And when Jane and I do these mediumship things, we're basically proving that the personality survives death, not just sort of some abstract awareness, but the whole sense of I, the whole sense of self, you know, that thing that we call the I, you know. You think about it, that even when you were a child, there was still that sense of I. Even as we get older, there's still that sense of I. Even if I dreamed, again, dreams are interesting. I dreamed recently of being another person with a completely different personality. And I still had that sense of being I, you know. So it makes you wonder that sense of I is what continues. And also the edge of that I, as it were, which is our expression of us as personalities, appears to continue after death. And that's what we prove, I think, when we give messages from people from the spirit world and give these things what we would call evidence, proofs. You know, a lot of the proofs are things such as what the personality of the person was like and what their humor and things like that. It still survives death. So that's what survives, all of it, every single bit, including memory. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
I've not been listening to you. Yeah. I had a vision of military courts in the States, 1 woman and 3 men. Have you folks seen anything similar? I can't say I have, to be truthful. I think they're talking about the shooting, what happened.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't confirm exactly the same.
No, I can't. I wouldn't like anybody to be shot
actually,
wherever they are.
I expect there will be huge court things in America soon. They might try to prosecute Trump. I think Polensky. I always get her name wrong. She wants to go for him big time, shut him up once and for all. But of course, that's not what democracy is about, is it? You know, even if you strongly disagree with someone, you still have to allow them to have their voice.
Of course.
And that's when we get in problems. If you start to suppress it, either side, you know, you start to suppress the other side's view, then we're all in serious trouble, because that's when democracy has been compromised. You know, we have to tolerate each other's opinions, even if we differ. Bit like a marriage.
Speak for yourself. You don't have to stay married to me.
Yeah, Paul is saying it. Hi, people. Hi. People are talking about a greater reset. What do you think of it, or is it just another conspiracy theory?
Conspiracy.
Yeah, the great reset ideas. I mean, there's always going to be these type of things in the background. I'm getting a cough again.
Yeah, people are.
I'm talking too much. Yeah, have a talk.
No, people are worrying about your cough here.
Oh, yeah. Don't read those other ones. I'm going to have to try to change the screen, because you're reading all the wrong ones.
That too.
And you're distracting yourself. Okay, so we can see them now. So, what do you think about the reset idea? You know.
Well, I just think with all conspiracies, you're always going to have conspiracies, aren't you?
Yeah.
And people's ideas of things. Everybody's an individual and think different things and think deeply. I think the world is changing very rapidly between our times in the 21st century, and I think people have got no idea what's coming.
I think in terms of what I would see as the right reset, I mean, I think we're going to have to rethink the way we not only do business, but the way we
as people
live in the world, because it's becoming less and less normal just for a person to go out and do a job. It's like your job is with you all the time nowadays, because you're always on. You've always got messages coming in by email. You're never free from it, you know, and people are also more portable. You don't have to always work for the same company all the time. So it's this idea of the 9 to 5, the 5-day week, and then a weekend off. All those things are kind of becoming very blurred, aren't they?
So 1950s.
Yeah, I mean that was all Victorian thinking. It was just, we had the weekend off, because that was, well, they used to only have Sunday off
Well,
to go to church.
Well, that was for workers.
It was the factory workers, you know, but now the factories are open 24/7. Most of it's being mechanized. Money has no longer, we don't need paper money. Money is just a commodity that is now so many units that we have, isn't it? And all these things with bitcoins and things. So, and how we earn money and wages, and whether we should all have a minimum wage each anyway.
I think people are searching, and I think a spiritual life is the best life, to be honest.
I think that humans will have to think smaller, because I think half the problem is, with all this globalization and everything, is that we've completely lost touch. You know, there's no village community anymore now. It's all huge cities. And I think, and it was one of the things that happened with the hippie era. Everybody said, and I did it with my friends, we all thought, we're going to sell everything we got, and we're going to all work hard, and we're going to put all the money in the pot, and we're going to buy a farm, you know. and we went the whole way with it, you know.
What's happened to the farm, Craig?
We all sat and we all burned our examination certificates. Nothing happened. Right. And well, it did. We went to a kibbutz and we did the second best thing, and they had a fantastic time, but we were determined. But I think that ideal, crazy as we were then, is still valid. And I think what we'll have to see in the future is more and more scaling down of things, you know. So we have smaller communities, we have smaller farmsteads and things like that. And maybe people don't have to live in such crowded conditions. I think we'll find a way. The main problem we have is overpopulation, though. That's where our troubles lie. And that's, I think, going to be one of the first things we'll have to address. Patricia, do you ever wonder, Craig and Jane, if this is lessons of karma for the USA, taking Trump out, Biden and the Democrats in power?
I'm sure it's all karmic, don't you?
Yeah, I think all nations carry a certain amount of karma. I mean, Britain must carry great karma, really, for
all the world.
You know, but then there's also good karma. I mean, everybody's into slagging Britain off nowadays and saying, "Oh, all the terrible things you did for slavery and all these other things."
But you actually, can't wipe history, can you?
You can't wipe history. You keep it as it is. We have to try to see history. History is always clouded by winners and losers who changed the history. But basically, Britain did good things and bad things. It brought democracy to the world. It was the first country to stop slavery, really. I mean, it stopped the slavery from the Arab countries, and the slaves were gathered from Africa itself and then sold to the Britain and so forth. There's lots of ways of looking at all these things. And I think it's really, really important that all of us look to history, because that's also our karma. You know, if we don't learn from our histories and we don't value our histories, all of us, and not to say my history is better than your history and so forth, as a world, that we should always look to our history and look to our roots. I think we learn from that, because if we don't learn from history, we make the same old mistakes over and over again. And next thing you know, we'll be back with Nazi extermination camps and nuclear war and all the rest of it, because we see it happen once. You know, the First World War came along, and it must, looking at it from distance, how on earth did they ever get into a Second World War after they'd gone through that trauma of the first? You know, and would we do it all again? Of course we would, because we don't learn from history, and that's our safeguard.
Well,
and that's our way
same
out
with
of the
nature
karma.
and environment, because we're going to get more earthquakes, and it does worry me. I saw a vision in Hawaii.
That
earthquakes, and I saw a volcano, and I saw that, and it feels as if it's coming soon.
I feel there's going to be a lot of this.
It's going to come soon.
There's going to be a lot of
higher sea levels, landslides.
Because the earth itself carries karma too. But karma's not just bad, remember. Karma's also good. And I think on the whole, you know, we might sort of look at the news at the moment and our heart might sink. But on the whole, humanity is good. You know, humanity is a good force. And what we've got to all try to do is brighten our best virtues. We've got to brighten the good in ourselves. You know, we've got to, what you focus upon grows in strength, whether it's you as a person, whatever you focus upon in your life and what you want grows in your personality. And what you focus on in the world will also grow in strength in your personal life as well. We not only attract, we mold the world with our thoughts. And that's why it's so important to think good thoughts.
Well, be loving, be caring, be considerate and be a decent human being while we're all on God's earth.
And care for others. Because, you know, most of the time we're thinking, oh, a terrible world out there. How's it going to affect me? Oh, all these politics, how is it going to affect me? Oh, the collapse of the economy, how's it going to affect me? We should be thinking the other way round and thinking, I don't care about me. I'm fine. Let the world be happy. You know, let all the beings in all the worlds be happy. You know,
all the children in the world too.
And that's the chant. That's the mantra we should keep in our thoughts, so that all beings are important, you know, and it's our only way out. I mean, it's the only thing we can do. We have to follow a spiritual path, and as you can see, guys, we're coming up to the last question.
Yes, and as Sai Baba would say, it, love all, serve all.
Yeah, that's true.
Swami would say that.
That's right, and love my uncertainty. You know, the world is full of uncertainty, but that is also very important to us. You know, we don't want a static world. We want a world that is loving, and
caring.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget, guys, we have a foundation and we have patrons. And if you become a patron, you can join us online on the patron pages and join me for my classes and meditations that are happening on Mondays. And there's a one happening this Monday, and also other clips. And it also helps us to keep the channel going and helps us to dedicate time to this type of thing. And eventually we're working towards a centre, as you know, that we're working as soon as the virus is out of the way. We hope to get our first step to that, which is going to be a studio. And we've got some great ideas, but we can't put them into practice yet until we're there. But we still need your support. So thanks to all those patrons that have been helping us over the year. It's been absolutely fantastic. But you'll see in the description below a link to the patrons. And if you become a patron, it will help us to keep on doing this work and expand it, and you know, be able to spend more and more time doing this and making more and more interesting productions for you. So your support is fantastic, even if it's a $3 support. And even this month, actually, even if you're a $3 patron, you can join me in the classes this month, even if you just want to give it a try for $3. It's nothing, is it? So, yeah, so have a look at the link below if you want to become a patron, and that will help us a great deal and help us to help the world and with what we try to do. So last questions coming up, guys.
And there it is.
And you can follow you, Jane, on Instagram.
Yeah, I've got a lot of followers.
You're getting quite a few followers now, are you? Yeah.
Right,
I don't go on Instagram myself, but you can also follow us
Lita,
on Facebook too.
Canada. Craig, you said, oh, that's for
Doug
you.
Ford will become Prime Minister of Canada. Do you still see that? I do, actually. I think Doug Ford stands a real good chance because I got it wrong with Trudeau. I thought he was going to go ages ago, actually. I thought he was going to stumble. And there seems to be, it's another one of Canada, again, has almost the same problems in a lesser way that America has in many respects. There's divisions even in Canada. And those divisions are still moving apart. And I think Canada needs to take a different way. And I think Trudeau will be going, I think, quite soon. I think it might be this year. And I think Doug Ford would be one of the most important contenders there. So that's my thoughts on Canada.
Right, what's this one say? Paula, do you think there will be a breakup of the UK, or will it be more united? I don't see a breakup of the UK.
But this is about Scotland and Wales and the Four Nations.
I don't think Scotland could afford to come away from the UK.
I think practically, I mean, I think now that we've left Europe, I think it would be very, very, very difficult practically for Scotland to survive, and it wouldn't be financially viable to be part of the Union, the European Union. Now, a lot of Scots will get really upset with that, I think, because I mean, again, we've got our divides here in the UK. You see, we've got this division of everybody wanting to break apart. And like I say, I think sometimes small is better. So I think, you know, it's better to run things more locally than globally. But I just feel, I don't think it will happen. Not so much just because there's such a strong movement. There is quite a strong movement about Scotland to leave Britain. But I don't see it actually happening, because I actually think the Scottish people ultimately are still very, very closely akin to the English. You know,
I don't think they like you saying
No,
that.
but I mean, my granddad fell in love with Scotland, and I'm sure there's an awful lot of Scots that fall in love with the rest of the world. You know, I mean, we are one nation, and I think we work better, and I think our differences are good. You know, I think our differences was what help us all. You know, we're a symbiosis. You know, like a you know, there's two different things make a stronger cell, as it were, and I think that Scotland will gradually become less anti-Britain, and I think there will be. I think it will come together. I don't think the divisions will happen. I think over the next year it's going to be difficult. I think the questions are going to come up more and more, but ultimately I feel that it will remain one united kingdom.
Holly, the division are politically driven. It's sick.
It is. I agree with that. Absolutely, Holly. I think we're all seeing that, aren't we? Everywhere you can.
What's that cat doing?
We're not. I don't know.
We're stuck in the fridge.
Is he? Has he gone out there? Yeah. I would definitely put Boo in charge. No, this channel is a vote for Boo channel. Let's have Boo as the leader of the world, and we'd all have dinner on time.
We do have dinner on time.
Yeah. So it's it is the political problems of this world. What a mess it is, isn't it? And I just think and in fact, over the coming year, I'm going to focus more on the spiritual teachings that Jane and I do, rather than some of this political stuff. I want to put some of that behind us. I know you all like the politics and the predictions, but really we've got to start thinking outside of the box about our life and how we are on this planet.
I think we nearly come to close.
Yeah, coming to close.
I love animals. I love animals. So do I. I really love animals.
Yeah. Thank you from I Love Animals.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, guys, for joining us here today.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Vote for Boo.
He's naughty.
Yeah. I don't know where he's gone. He climbed up. He climbed up
the curtain when we're on there.
Climbed up the curtain a minute. He nearly had the microphones over there.
And then he's tucking the fridge. It's like a child playing you up when you're on the phone.
Have a good weekend. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again. And thank you so many of you coming
Patrice.
All the time. You come
Bye,
regular.
Patrice.
Yeah, nice to see you, Patrice. Good to see you again from Germany. Yeah, saw you quite. Holly Freezy, start doing the weekly readings again. I missed that. There was one, the reading ones that come out yesterday. This one just gone live, so they're there on the YouTubes.
Kit.
Boo for the president.
Amy.
Boo needs his own channel.
He does.
Yeah. If I wanted to try to do some stuff.
A blog. You could do a blog.
I was trying to do it actually, but he wouldn't keep still, and it's just so difficult. Thank you for your insights and Happy New Year. Yeah, and Happy New Year to you. And let's make it all happy, shall we? Let's get our focus on
Fleming.
More positive thinking for the world.
Have a nice weekend.
Yep.
You too.
Yep. You forget it's weekends, don't you? Because
thank you both. The rain.
Thank you both. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, thanks for all joining us. And Amon Kaya, aka Bright White Magic.
I like bright white magic. No, that's
Bright
good.
White Magic. Yeah, that's quite a nice name.
TJ,
happy 2021. Yes, let's make it a good time. Let's all start to become a bit more spiritually minded. You know, start to really put into practice those things that we learn about and read about. Sorry, I was late. Much peace and love.
Peace and love too,
to you
Craig.
too. Flying unicorns.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Craig. I really appreciate your spiritual thoughts of changing the world by looking at yourselves. You're always changing for the good, concentrating on the good.
That's right. What you focus your attention on grows in strength. Think good things, things.
Because all those thoughts are very real that go out in the ether.
And it actually makes a lot of sense too, because you end up with a happier life. And if you do good to others, it comes back on you tenfold. It really does. It's the law of karma, you know. And you don't have to worry about what's going on in the world. Think about your little orbit, your little world, and how you can do your little bit.
Sin City, Jim.
Oh, Sin City. That sounds fun. Good show. First time viewing you guys from Vegas, of course. Yes. Yeah, I liked Vegas. I remember doing yoga on the balcony in Vegas with all these lights in the background.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right, Elizabeth. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Was from Wisconsin. Thank you for joining us.
Nikki.
Cyram too. Yes. And so it looks like we're coming to the end soon. Bye from Washington State. Washington.
Nicole.
Yeah. Nicole. Charlie.
groove.
Groovy, man.
With a groovy kind of love.
Yeah. Oh, this
Love
is the
from
groovy channel.
Atlanta.
With love from
Not
Atlanta.
Atlantis, Atlanta.
That's a lovely word, that word.
Groovy. I'm a groovy kind of girl.
See, that's the sort of word we need. We want a groovy president.
We want a
We want a
groovy
groovy
world.
prime minister.
Hey,
Be
man.
groovy, guy.
Groovy.
Yeah. I think I'll shoot myself. So excited to see this live. I'm always sleeping after work.
Oh,
yeah.
have a nice
Well,
rest.
nice to catch you. So there's something special about doing it live, isn't there? You connect your energies.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Well, we're going to say goodbye for you now. All right. See you
Take care.
soon. Bye for
Peace.
now.
Bye.